The Denver Broncos just got some huge news that will impact their matchup against the Indianapolis Colts heading into Week 2. Broncos country! Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and on today's episode, I'm going to tell you what that news is and why it is good for Denver Broncos wide receivers. Now, remember, the Broncos are on a win streak. 3 preseason games. First one, that's 4. So now we're heading into Week 2. And if you want to see a better offense ultimately leading to a win, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up icon. So what is this big news that I'm talking to you guys about? Well, the Colts released their practice report, which was basically their injury report. And there's a couple of names on here that you need to know. I realize this is a small print, but I do want to highlight 2 of the names that are on this specific list: Charvarius Ward and Jaylon Jones. Now, why are these 2 significant? Well, both of these guys would have seen significant time on the Colts field as cornerbacks on the defensive side of the ball. Here's what Colts Wire specifically had to say about these 2 injuries. Charvarius Ward entered concussion protocol on Monday after reporting symptoms following Sunday's game. Head coach Shane Steichan said that Ward will not practice on Wednesday and that the team will see how the week goes. They go on to say that Jaylon Jones would sustain a hamstring injury during Sunday's game. Steichan said that they will be out for a while. Steichan and the team is still determining if Jones will be placed on injured reserve, according to the Athletic's James Boyd. So the one that I do want to at least mention, because he is the starter, is Charvarius Ward, who last year played for the San Francisco 49ers. Granted, this guy had a very, very tough 2024 season, not only on the field, but off the field. But he was only 1 game into his Colts tenure before entering into concussion protocol. And I thought this was interesting. As Colts Wire just mentioned about seeing if they'll be ready to go, I think this is probably something that's pretty telling. This is Our Lads, which is one of the websites that has the most up-to-date depth charts. In red there, they have injured or inactive, and they have Charvarius Ward listed and Jaylon Jones, meaning both of them are very unlikely to play heading into Week 2. Jaylon Jones for sure, Charvarius Ward, again, probably not. Why does this advantage Broncos? Why does this is this advantageous, I should say, to the Denver Broncos? Well, they'll face off with the Colts' second string or practice squad corners at some point on Sunday. With Jaylon Jones being the backup at this point, having a practice squad person kind of step into that backup cornerback role on the right side is going to happen. And then also Charvarius Ward, who was the starter, he's going to be out. So now another backup will take his place. So now the Broncos wide receiver room has the advantage of going up against some less talented corners, which I believe is well within their favor for not only the wide receivers, but also for Bo Nix. It's also an opportunity to showcase this wide receiver talent that we've been talking about all offseason. Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, and even Pat Bryant, who we'll talk about a little bit later on in this episode, because there's a head-scratching stat out there that I just could not believe. But let's hyperfixate right now on Marvin Mims, because Mims did not have a great game. He muffed a punt, didn't get very involved in the passing game, and that was kind of highlighted by one other Denver Broncos wide receiver, Courtland Sutton, who had 46.3% of the team's air yards in Week 1. Now, let's just focus on that for a brief moment. Air yards. So we're talking about from the time the ball left Bo Nix' hands to the time it was caught by a receiver. Courtland Sutton accounted for 46.3% of it. That's a massive chunk. If you take Courtland Sutton out of the equation, the Broncos' offense was struggling heavily against the Tennessee Titans. So you're going to have to see the likes of Marvin Mims really take account. And same with Troy Franklin. You need them to stretch the field more, because right now, the only one that's doing anything is Courtland Sutton. And granted, yes, it is Week 1. Granted, Bo Nix played poorly. I understand all of that. But the perfect opportunity now to really stretch the field and put the ball in the hands of other playmakers is against a damaged Indianapolis Colts secondary. It all works in tandem together. So I'm going to pencil in Marvin Mims as my answer for this question right here. Which Denver Broncos wide receiver needs to show out in week 2? You know my answer, but if you have another one, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, coming up, why didn't one specific Denver Bronco play more snaps? And I think you guys are going to know who the answer to this question is, because not only did he not play a lot of snaps, he only played 4 total ones. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that, of course, is Ethos. Look, I got married, and now kids are going to be the next conversation. So when it comes to my family's life insurance plan, I don't play any games, and that is where Ethos comes into play. Now with Ethos, you can get covered and protected in minutes with rates at less than $23 a month. Like I said, as someone who's about to have kids, it is at the top of my priority list to get my life insurance under control. Ethos is revolutionizing the insurance industry with a 100% online process and can provide protection for you and your loved ones in as little as 10 minutes. They've got no medical exams. Just answer a few easy health questions online. Their 100% online and hassle-free process makes it easy to apply. You can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. I'll have all of that in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Ethos for sponsoring today's video. So Pat Bryant only played 4 snaps versus the Titans in week 1. That's only 5%. And honestly, for a third-round pick, that's kind of surprising. Now, I don't mean to say that Pat Bryant needed to have 10 targets in week 1. Obviously, as a rookie, you're going to be gradually inserted into the game plan. There's no doubt about it. But 5% feels really, really low. After the preseason that he had, I would have been assured that Pat Bryant was going to see the field more than he originally did against the Titans. So this, of course, is puzzling to me because I watched what he did against the Arizona Cardinals. Granted, it was against second and third string, fourth string players. Some of those guys aren't even on the team anymore. But I watched Pat Bryant carve up the middle of the field. And in order to get Pat Bryant game reps, you got to put him in the game. CBS Sports, I think, captured exactly how I felt about everything. The rookie was the only wideout who saw action on offense that wasn't targeted in the contest. Despite his limited usage behind fellow wide receivers Sutton, Franklin, Mims, and Sherfield, it's reasonable to think that Bryant will be eased more into playing time as the season progresses, just like I said. But for now, it appears his experienced teammates will handle the majority of opportunities in the passing game. Even more so of a perfect opportunity against a weakened Indianapolis Colts secondary for Pat Bryant to really showcase his skills. I'm not saying that Pat Bryant needs to play 50 snaps, but can you play him 20? Can you play him 25? Let's see what the kid has to offer, especially if this game is closer than people think, which I saw the comments of the last video. Tons of Colts fans were in there saying they were going to kick our ass. Now, I disagree with that completely, but now you really have the opportunity to showcase in this week 2 matchup on the road what your young talent can do. And we've talked about Pat Bryant's skill set. He is that, growing into that Michael Thomas role, someone that can be a middle of the field presence, a guy that off the line of scrimmage can do damage in that intermediate passing game. And I think that's exactly what Bo Nix needs to showcase. Because if you go back to his passing chart, and producer Chip, in the photo section, there is a Bo Nix passing chart in there if you want to bring that up. We talked about, there it is, perfect. You saw what Bo Nix did in the intermediate passing game. A lot of this is at the line of scrimmage. It's between 0 and 10 yards. Intermediate is between 10 and 20 yards. Notice something on this list. There wasn't a ton of that either. And the times that he did throw more than 15 yards, he threw picks or incompletions. So this is the player that I believe, if you put him in, can make a difference in that intermediate passing game. Because what Bo showed last week was anything outside of 10 yards, he was completely inaccurate. Now, was that a fault of Bo? Yeah, probably. Was that a fault of some of the receivers not being able to get open? Sure. But then it builds my case even more for Pat Bryant. Put another guy in there. Let's see what he's got. So should the Broncos use Pat Bryant more in week 2? Yes or no? Duh. Of course they should. How much should they use them? That's a little bit of a different conversation that you and I can have in the comment section. And speaking of, put your answer down there as we speak. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. Not too much to talk about here. Sean Payton was pretty quiet at the mic today, but we will be back tomorrow with more Denver Broncos content. Until next time, Broncos country, mile high salute to you. Be cool.